Alrighty. Okay. How do I do this again? Okay, let me pull this stuff up here. Blip. We are back. Aries, what is up? It has been a minute. How are you doing, man? Good to see you again. I am so out of the game because I've been gone for 3 weeks. And I was already kind of spotty before that this summer just because of being busy. So I have no idea what I'm going to do today. I have no idea where I left off. All I know is I was working on this cinematic for a while. I still have my countdown to Finland trip counter, which is now into the negatives because it's been 23.6 days since I went onto the plane to go to Finland. Great trip, by the way. No complaints. Awesome time. Loved it. Will be going back. I'm great. That's good to hear, man. Yeah. I'm doing pretty good, too. Yeah, we got our cinematic kind of going. The inside of the ship, still a little weird with the camera angle. You're just kind of like right behind the guy. But then you step out, goes back to normal view. We did some work with Terrain 3D, but it turns out we can only really use that for the surrounding trees, for the foliage. But that's fine. We can just use regular meshes for inside and just kind of hope it works with navigation, I guess. Got a new job and have been busy for a month. Dang, there we go. Nice. What kind of job, I guess, if you're comfortable sharing? Hey, JD. JD does dev. How are you doing, man? Thank you for the raid, brother. Been a while. I just got back from Finland a couple days ago, so thank you for the welcome back raid. How was your stream, brother? Good to see you again, man. I've got to figure out how to get back to work on this game. I feel like I've forgotten everything. Looks good. I've been dabbling back and forth between game dev and web dev. That's honestly what I've been doing. That Gamer, what's up? Yeah, so I've been doing a bit of, I was doing some React Native, but then I decided to just jump into React so I could kind of speed through the learning, because I feel like React is just a little bit easier for me to understand coming from a web development background anyway. Not that it's that different from React Native, but so when I was in Finland, when I had free time, I was learning some React. I also blew up the database free plan that I had because I wrote some infinite loop that instantly sent 50,000 requests to a Firebase database. And since then, I haven't touched it, but I need to get back to it. It's been a while, so I wanted to welcome you back. Thanks, man. It's been going well. Streamed on the Godot Engine official channel today. Nice. That's sick. That's dope, man. How does that work? Do they just host you, or how? Yeah. Haven't seen you in a bit. Yeah, I've been gone. I was over in Finland for a while. About 3 weeks. Had a great time. Will be going back at some point this year or early next year. And then probably just moving there, to be honest. I had a good time. And I'm looking for a change. Blades, what's up? JD killed it. Nice. Got to stream keys from there and streamed on their channel. Dang. So, like, directly on it. That's cool. Blades, how are you, brother? Good to see you again, man. Aries here. YouTube was weird. Chat was broken. Okay. YouTube's always got the longer delay, too, so Twitch is probably better. Buttermilk, what's up? I'm about to start working on 3D Godot. Still learning 2D, but about finished where I want to be. Yeah. Got to start playing with Blender for 3D. Blender's fun. It's a good time. Takes a bit, but it's good. It's fun. Giving up everything worthwhile is too complex. Bro, I feel that. You just got to make sure that you're too dumb to quit. That's my policy. Just be too dumb to quit. It works every time. Let me go get some coffee, some water, some something. Okay, I have water. I've been diving into shaders. Shaders are hard. I have an irrational fear of shaders because every time I've tried to do anything with them, it's been too hard, hasn't worked. And so now I just think they're black magic that I can't understand. But I will be back. I'm going to make some coffee for myself real quick. Got the coffee started. Need to have adequate levels of jitters going, you know. Can't let my body hit homeostasis. I've got to be on edge. What are my plans for today? I have no idea. This is a return stream, so I'm not going to expect anything from myself besides running around on my little planet here. I am pretty happy with the foliage stuff, but I don't know. The fact that I can't put collision on anything is kind of annoying. And I'll, especially when it comes to the navigation side of things, once I try to make enemies navigate. But really, realistically, I think what I'm going to do for this demo anyway is just not care about navigation. And just say, hey, anytime you're fighting an enemy, they're going to be on a flat arena like this. And they're going to have a painted-on navigation region. They're not going to go anywhere else. Something like that. Just going to cut whatever corners I can. Still have no idea why I have some of these models in this village, like these mannequins. Trying to think of what would be fun to do so then I don't immediately get bored. And making structures for this world would be fun in Blender. Or if I had something fun to program. We'll see. Silent Creed, what is up, man? How are you doing? How's the hip faring? Speaking of hips, I'm getting my hip scanned or an MRI done this weekend. Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Here, I'm going to go grab my coffee. Be right back. Good to see the familiar faces in the chat. It feels like it's been years. It's been like 3 weeks, but you know. Oh, I just died. Okay, first thing let's do, let's hide this countdown to Finland thing. Because until I know when I'm going back out there, I probably don't need it. Right here. Let's go ahead and hide that. Now let's watch through our cinematic again. Pretty happy with how this is kind of shaping up. Even though it's sped up right now, so it looks weird, but... Yeah, not bad. Press F to pick up. So the sword is somewhere around here. Oh, it just disappeared. Did it go under the ship? No? Where did it go? Oh, it's over here on the floor. Blip. I'll have to figure out a way of doing that, but... Another thing I was thinking was like, oh, I need to figure out how to drop things and stuff, but no, I don't. This is a demo. Doesn't need to be good. In fact, it never needs to be good. Nothing ever needs to be good. That's something I'm trying to live by. Feeling a ton better. Still using a cane, but much less reliant on it. Nice. That's good to hear, especially considering how, like, because yours was it was like kind of a catastrophic thing, right? Like it wasn't a planned replacement, right? It was a hip failure pretty much. So that's pretty good as far as recovery goes. Yeah. I'll have to see. I think on Sunday I'll know whether or not I need to replace my hip. Blade says, I don't know what you responded to my message. The baby's taking all my attention. Basically, what I said was, I feel that pretty much. But also, just remember to be too dumb to quit. That's what I do. I just stay dumb. Have dumb amounts of confidence, and then be, any smart person would just give up, right? Don't be smart. That's terrible. Be dumb. That's the only way you'll have the perseverance. If you're anything like me. Silent says the joint fully caved in. Dang, yeah. Likely tell you to live with the pain as long as you can. Yeah, the problem is I'm also like it's not 100% chance, but it's like a 99% chance I'm moving at the end of or by the beginning of next summer. And I just want to get stuff done as fast as possible. Depending on if I have a full subchondral collapse on that part of the bone, then I'm going to do what I'm doing for my knee, which is to just get the replacement. I'm just doing it because at this point, the pain is bad. Sure, I'm used to it, but I got to remember that that's not like a good metric because I'm used to a lot of things. I just want to get it done, get it over with, you know. I know they'll say some stuff like, "Hey, steroid injection," that type of thing, but lived with pain for years and years. Yeah, that's the thing. I've been in it for way too long, and it's like I finally am starting to do something about it. It's like, okay, maybe I could push it another 6 months or something. Or I could just continue living as I have recently, where I just walk maybe 2,000 steps a day, so then it doesn't destroy me. But because it's just the moment I walk 3,000-4,000 steps, I'm starting to feel it pretty bad. I mean, it's always there, but I'm just used to it. And then if I walk 5,000-6,000, I'm ruined for like 3 days. I'm hobbling. It's just it's so annoying. But better to force it. I think they want you to wait based on how long they used to last. Yeah, and they're a lot better now. So depression stuff got too much for me. I lost all motivation. Yeah. I mean, I feel that too. I haven't had that recently, to be honest. Like in the past year. That used to be kind of my jam, Blades. But not my jam, but my deal. So I understand that. How are you eating? Because that is one thing that has changed. Although that only changed really in the past like 4 months. But eating good, taking care of yourself. You got to just try the things, even if they don't fully fix problems. You still have to try them. There's no other choice. That and there's also some amount of, what do you call it? It's not just discipline. But there's something that has kind of kept me coming back to work on this stuff and learn. And it is discipline, but it's more of just habit at this point, I think. And getting used to the suckiness of it. But that being said, depression's its own thing. Doesn't have to be a rational thing. It can just be feeling terrible. Studies haven't been completed yet because the new ones last way longer. Yeah, and honestly, actually, my doctor was saying that. They're saying, like, unless something goes wrong with it, like the screws loosen or you break your leg or you get an infection or something like that, then they can technically just last the rest of my life, as long as nothing goes wrong with the apparatus itself or infection. So they're not going to degrade by themselves, except for maybe the screws getting loose or something. But yeah, eat regularly. Probably not the most healthy. I've never taken care of my body with Schwartz. Dude, start now, because me, a person who should know better with all of my health problems, I ate horrifically for about 10 years. That's where the whole diabetes thing came from. And my body has suffered so much for it. And then you realize, like, it's not actually that hard to eat healthy if you just decide to. Now, granted, my diet is not for everyone because I eat like 3 things. And most people like to eat more than 3 things. But just adding in, like, even if you don't remove the bad stuff, just add in some good stuff. And then slowly over time, maybe remove some bad stuff, you know. Don't be pounding the carbs all day. Add in some greens. It's not, it's not too complicated. It just takes building the habits over time. I need to add back in the greens because I simplified my diet like way too much to where I was just eating protein chips, peanut butter, and olive oil, which is the most ridiculous diet. So now I need to get back to making my chicken soups, That's my thing, though, is it has to be easy. If it's not easy, I'm not going to do it. When it comes to like eating and working out and all that. That's why like the only workouts I like doing or can stick with is boxing, which I haven't done because I don't have my stuff set up. But it's because I actually enjoy it and it's so easy to just go out and punch a bag. I don't have to go to a gym. And it's a good workout, but otherwise I will just never work out. And currently I'm not working out because I don't have my boxing set up, but not a huge deal, IMO. I don't know which part of what I was saying you're referring to. So I will refrain from commenting until I know more. What do I have? That I want to do on this. Let's just, for starters, go into my world and Let's delete some of the objects that don't need to be there. Yeah, those are good. Me commenting on the previous. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and like, what am I going to get out of, like, am I going to get an extra 6 months if I take a prednisone or a steroid shot? Like, I'd rather just get a new replacement. I'm going to have to get one soon anyway, so it's like, yeah. And they're going to last a while, as long as I don't do anything stupid. Plus, I want to get this all done, hopefully, before the end of the year, so I don't spend as much money on health insurance. Because mine resets at the end of the year, so. Oh, the infection after the replacement. Ah, I see. Baby doesn't help because I have to watch him. True. Can't be productive. Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected for the first bit of the... Because, I mean, how old is the baby? Couple months? So, that's the thing that time, it'll just take time. Those are the things that are a little bit weird because it's like, that is the hardest for me to deal with, is when something literally just takes time until it changes. Because you feel like you don't really have control. I mean, you don't. You just have to wait and keep doing what you're doing until your kid grows up a little bit and you don't have to watch him as much. But that's, still a couple of years. And at that point, then you have toddler years too. But, They tell you to get any dental work done before you can... Oh, before. I see. I shouldn't have any dental stuff that I have to worry about. Steroid shots lasted like maybe a couple weeks for me. Wow, yeah. And you can only get them a few times a year. Yep. Steroids got me in this position in the first place. So, I mean, obviously it doesn't matter because either way, I would be getting them replaced. But it's kind of crazy that that's the thing. Like, the high-dose steroids is what gave me osteonecrosis. And then they, then they just inject them straight into your joints. Let me find another album to listen to. This is a good one, though. It's the problem. It has almost the vibe that I want, but also not quite. Nope, I don't want chill. Sure, we'll just go with this. Is there anything else I want to delete out of this map? Oh, we still have a tiny little bit of navigation right on that rock. Now, why is that? It's because of the nav objects. And this object is in the nav objects. Okay. Could try to rebake this and everything, but... feel like I've also lost direction on this project. Probably need to have a nice sit down where I plan it out again. Because I feel like for a long time I haven't really gotten much done. Well, I mean, okay, I did. It was inventory stuff that really screwed up my velocity. That's always what I got to do. I got to keep that momentum going, These buildings always bothered me too. I should replace them, but... I had zero idea that infection in your mouth causes so many issues to people with artificial joints and organ transplant. I mean, it makes sense. And infections, your mouth is also like one of the places you get infections the easiest. But I had to watch that when I was doing cancer treatment. Even though I didn't have any transplants or anything. I wonder why. I guess it was just because I had no immune system. So I had to make sure I wasn't, like, I was taking care of my dental health. But, yeah, I wonder what that is. If it's just the fact that it's easier to get infected through the mouth, or if there's something specific to mouth infections that affect those. But I guess I didn't have any transplants, but I did have, like, foreign bodies. Like my medical port. I don't know if that would change it, but... Not doing a lot. IRL Blades is saying, or otherwise. Yeah. Trying to think if I relate to that. I mean, I do, but for me, maybe it's because I've kind of been okay with being kind of solitary. I don't know. But I've never been, like, really solitary. I've always at least been social in some capacity because I'm doing streaming or something. Yeah. So there's always something to kind of keep me distracted that's social, even though I don't see people in regular life. This summer is the first time in a long time that I've been doing anything with anybody. Like, probably 4 years since I've actually been a social human being. And it's been good, to be honest. Actually hanging out and doing things. Yeah, I don't know how I dealt with it. It was probably mostly just because I still had some social interaction. It was just through streaming. And maybe gaming, gaming with some friends, but... What kind of hobbies do you have, Blades? The main thing is, like, trying to just make incremental success. It can be tiny, but just do some sort of personal growth in an upward trajectory over time. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be fast, anything like that, but that has been one thing that has made my life better, is just focusing on slowly getting my things in order, like my life in order. And then that made kind of all the other things easier. Silent says, they told me bone infections are greatly impacted by oral issues. Okay, really? Probably has to do with how your body responds to infections and rejects foreign bodies. Didn't look into it, but that's what they said at face value. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, I wonder then, yeah. So if you got like a big infection in your mouth, then suddenly your immune system is pumped into gear. And then it's looking for foreign bodies. Could be that, yeah. Last few weeks I haven't done anything except watch stream. Yeah, you got to get out of that loop for sure. Streamers should be for your chill time, but your chill time should be a thing that is set aside. It's like your recreation time. It shouldn't be your time, Shouldn't be your whole chunk, right? You got to set that aside as like, all right, this will be after I've done my stuff, Motivation, energy is more important than motivation, I think. Which is why the kind of like taking care of your health is more important. Motivation, it'll come and go. It's ethereal. It's meaningless. But energy is big. Like that's important. don't think about or motivation as like this mental thing. Just think of the literal physical energy. That's what you want to focus on, which is why like eating good is a good thing. Making sure you're getting, you're not dumping carbs into your body, because then you're not going to have any energy because you're overdosing on carbs. Making sure you're getting some fats, proteins, not sugar. Doing some physical activity, whether it's just walking once around the block every day. Something like that will literally change your energy levels. Just, yeah, think about your body fuel. Because motivation, once again, it's kind of useless, to be honest, I think. Because you can't use it when you don't have energy. And most of the time that I get motivation is when I'm like driving to work. It's like, well, okay. Now I can't even use it. And I kind of suspect that the only reason the motivation shows up then is because I know I can't do anything about it. So that's when I'm ultra motivated, because I know I'm not going to actually have to put in the work. Pensive Crow, what's up? That is a great name. Game looks sick. What are we making? So I don't really know at this point, because it's been 3 weeks since I've streamed, because I was on a trip. So I'm kind of lost, but the overall gist of the game is I'm trying to make a demo for a larger game that will be kind of an way too ambitious RPG style game that I'm probably not going to make unless some publisher entrusts me with hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is probably not going to happen. But the idea is you land on this planet. You pick up some gear. You have a couple different weapon types, melee-based, kind of Souls-like maybe. I still haven't done anything for combat besides the main character attacks. And you're exploring this kind of alien jungle planet and doing, Souls-like combat. The demo is probably only going to be maybe 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay. Yeah. But I'm kind of lost on it because I've just been working on random things the whole time. Haven't structured it very well. The only little creatures that are in this world are the grass creatures here, who you hack them and then they kind of burrow down into the ground. But yeah, I really need to like take a step back and start planning out what I want to get done on this, because I'm kind of aimless right now. And I'm already getting that temptation to just like start a new project, which is terrible. So that's why I need to reevaluate, make sure I don't just get lost in the overwhelming nature of trying to make something like this. But yeah, environment is neat. I really like the shooting star. Oh yeah. I should add more, because right now there's only one, and it just it's literally just something that flies around like that. But I do like it quite a bit. Time for a GDD for sure. Yeah. Always start your GDD 4 months into the project. That's what they tell me, you know? No, I really do need to do that, though, silent. And then just map out everything that it will take to do it. And cut some corners, because, man, I've been trying to do everything myself, and that has taught me a ton. But also it makes it very overwhelming to do the rest of this. Like trying to do animations for the enemies, no. I know how hard it was just to get these animations, which aren't even good. They work, but they're not good. So I'm going to probably roll Mixamo for that. I mean, it's a demo, you know? And then the other thing is, I really like the visual style, but there has to be something I do. Maybe some sort of shader over everything. Because it still kind of just looks like you see the anti-aliasing, whatever. There's the lighting. Like, there's things that I need to figure out to make things look really good. Because the whole idea with this was just make it look really good. And right now, obviously, I'm kind of in between because I had to change my terrain plugin, so now it doesn't look quite as good as it used to. And I haven't fully rebuilt it. But I really need to focus on that, on making the visuals just really, eye-catching. Which includes stuff like this dumb UI stuff where I drew these things in about 0.7 seconds. I need to make good icons. The character himself, I'm good with. I just need to add a cloak somehow. These buildings are terrible, but most of the assets, I feel confident I'll be able to make stuff that looks okay, especially with how low poly it is. But the enemies, that's what's going to be hard. How do I make good human enemies? I should open up Blender and take a look at what I had done. Adding structure does so much for focus and motivation. Yeah. Structure and routine. That's everything. This is all this stuff. Yeah, so I have a basic unfinished humanoid model. And the face isn't actually terrible, but I just don't know how to get the visual style because I want to do low poly faces, and I might have even done too much detail here. I don't know. We'll see. But bite the bullet and do GDD. Yeah. Pensive says, seems like a cool lore thing with the one little star. Maybe it's something lost out there. True. And I actually have had ideas for what they might be, but because there's going to be a lot of different factions in the lore trying to control this one planet. I'd do a GDD. You get to flow creatively and make the legwork easier. Yeah. A cell shading shader could go a long way if you like that style. I will have to look. Your art style is really cool, and cell shading sounds awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah. I'll take a look at that then. We can do that now. Now, is it something that I have to apply to all of my stuff, or is there just a shader I can throw on the screen and it just makes everything look better? How much work do I have to put in? Let's take a look at some cell shaders and do some research on what they are.
I'm going to show you how to go from this to this in less than 5 minutes. Cell shading can refer to a number of different art styles like border.
But yeah, Pensive, I want to really work on it because I've only been doing Blender for a little bit. I mean, now it's, I don't know, how long have I actually worked on Blender? Like 2 months? I've been doing it for longer technically. It's just that I haven't been like the actual time spent learning it has only been a couple months, I think. But actually easier to apply it individually in Godot. Okay. So I wonder if I could, well, we'll learn. Not sure. Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker are cell shaded in those games. There are bugs where you can see the default shader underneath. Yeah. This is where I'm leaning heavily into the it's a demo thing. Because I don't need to know how to do it the right way unless I end up making the real game. This is a really nice cop-out, by the way. This is perfect. You guys should use this. Just make a demo. Say you're going to pitch it to publishers, which, to be fair, I actually probably will. And say, I'm going to build everything the wrong way for the demo because I don't care. It's just a demo, and it's not going to get funded anyway. And then on the off chance that you do get funded for a lot of money, then at that point you just say, okay, well, now I actually have to build it, and I'll do it the right way, but at least, you're getting paid. Okay, let's take a look at this.
Lands or the game 13. We're going for the classic Wind Waker.
Why is it? I haven't been juuling for like 2 months. Well, a month and a half. I haven't been vaping. But the moment I start watching YouTube videos on stream, and all I can think about is that where's my vape? I haven't had that feeling in like a month, and it just hit me again. But Doesn't sound like a cop-out. They can see the product, not the code. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm so heavily focused on making good visuals, you know.
In my example project, which I will upload to my Patreon for you to download for free, I've set up a basic 3D scene with a plane and an OmniLight 3D node.
When is this
For
from?
my 2 example models,
5 months
I have
ago.
a basic
Nice.
sphere mesh and these really great open source 3D characters from GD Quest.
Okay.
Link to those in the
Another
description.
nicotine pouch.
To create the cell shading, I've already set up the custom shader for my GoBot mesh right here. Let's take a look at the code before we go through the process of making our sphere cell shaded. The shader is actually converted from a standard material, which
So how does this work? You've got your Blender file, you bring it in, and then you add another material to the mesh that you have loaded into your node.
counts for most of the code here. I'm going to highlight what I've adjusted in order to get the cell shading. Our first change is to adjust our render mode by using the diffuse tune and specular tune settings. These do exist within the standard material setup, but they don't quite get the effect that we're looking for. Then we add 2 new uniforms or variables with.
Props to you for staying clean. You got this, bro. I'm dirty clean. I'm still doing nicotine pouches. But to be fair, my life, my plan in life has always been you just incrementally get better. So I started smoking way too many cigarettes, and then eventually it was like, okay, you can't smoke 2 packs a day all the time. So then I started vaping, and I was like, well, this is at least better than that. And then I was vaping all the time, and I was spending way too much money on it. And I was like, okay, we're going to switch to nicotine pouches. This is at least better than vaping. And then eventually I'll finally get to the point where I'm like, well, just not doing any nicotine is at least better than this, you know? That gamer says, I get that. I need a vape feeling when I'm thinking about something, trying to solve issue. Yeah, that's where it is. I also used to get it when I was a cigarette smoker, where I'd run into a problem and I need to think about it, and then I need to go outside and smoke because that's how I think about it. And it's weird when you switch to vaping, and then you're like, well, now I need to stay inside because I can just vape inside in my room. There's that weird kind of muscle memory sort of deal. Silent says, at least in this example. So, okay. So there's probably different ways of doing it then, I assume.
The shader, color gradient, and Fresnel gradient. These 2 uniforms will hold 2 different textures that we'll use to adjust our lighting. The color gradient will have a strong black to white split right in the middle, and I'm going to show you how you can even adjust this to make your effect a little bit different later on. And the Fresnel gradient will have a black to white gradient starting at the midpoint. With just these 2 textures, we can create the cell shaded look that we're going for. We just need to adjust how lighting interacts with our shader. Back in the shader, there are different functions. Vertex, which manipulates the vertices of the mesh. Fragment, which is our pixel shader. And finally, the light function. Within the light function, we're going to override how light interacts. In a general...
So, this is what I still don't really understand shaders, except for maybe in the context of a material and adding a shader that way. But when you've got something like a multi-mesh, right? Like these trees. How would I apply that to that? Shoot, I don't even remember. It's been a while since I even looked at these. Oh, terrain 3D, okay. Would I have to then... Because for this, I'm just adding a mesh. I'm not adding a scene. And those meshes, I think this mesh is a, what is it? Is it a standard GLB or whatever? Could I import it in a certain way and then do the shader and then load it into here? I'm not really sure. More than one way to do it for sure. Do it as lazy as you can, at least at first, so you can use it for a couple things to see how you like it. Yeah.
Setup, lighting reacts to our mesh depending upon the normals of our vertices. Normals that look directly at the direction of the light are obviously brighter, and those that look away from it become darker or completely in shadow. This process involves getting what is called the dot product of the mesh vertex normals and our lighting source. This dot product compares the direction of our light and the mesh normals. We're going to hijack this process to create our effect. We take the dot product, which is between -1 and 1, and normalize it to a range from 0, our darkest area, to 1, our brightest. Now that we have a 0 to 1 alpha value for each pixel, we can sample our color gradient texture.
So that's
Values
how it's
up to
just
0.5
snapping from
become
one
dark.
color to the other
Values
without having a
above
gradient.
become lit,
You can have that hard
creating
line.
that strong cell-shaded contrast. Our final line adds each sampled light to our diffuse light value. And here's a cool little trick. You can clamp this value so you don't ever go above 1, or you can leave it and use it for an HDR value. Finally, we can add a Fresnel outline to make the mesh pop. A Fresnel is going to activate the pixels that are more perpendicular to the vector of the camera. We add a custom Fresnel function that will run to add a slight glowing outline. In our fragment function, we use this Fresnel function to get a basic Fresnel value for each pixel, then add our Fresnel value to our albedo, sampling our Fresnel gradient. And that's it. Now that you have a little bit more understanding of how this is done, let's try adding our cell shading to our sphere over here.
So insane,
Create a new
shaders.
shader material, or you can convert an existing standard material to a shader. We add our render mode line to adjust the diffuse and specular render over here. We create a new shader material, or you can convert an existing standard material to a shader. We add our render mode line to adjust the diffuse and specular rendering, add our 2 gradient uniforms, and load our textures into our shader parameters. We also need a base albedo or an albedo texture. We add our Fresnel function, run it within our fragment function, and then adjust our albedo. Then we run our light function with the dot product, sampling, and diffuse light adjustments. Now, if you want to add more bands to the cell shading, you can totally do that. Simply edit your color gradient texture. You can shift where the break occurs or add more bands. And yes, this works with multiple lights. Now you can definitely do a more advanced cell shading and add more features, but this is a very basic setup that you can do in a matter of minutes. If this was helpful, leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to show you how to...
Okay, I'm going to look at some other options as well.
Let's talk about how to make your...
Just go download his project and snag a shader. Yeah, that might be a good call. See if you like it. Don't get me wrong. Understanding is great, but do it not needing to try it. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't have to understand everything. That's been kind of my thing on this project is like, all right, I need to do everything myself, but, you know. Wardstone, what is up, brother? How are you? Good to see you again, man. How are you, man? I'm going to watch a couple more videos here, but this one I could probably... he has his files right over here, so... Here? Or is this Patreon? Oh, do you have to... subscribe to get them, or... We'll see. Doing good. Been missing your streams, dude. Glad you're back. Hope your holiday was a good one. It was great. Awesome. I was very sad to come back, but also it's good to get back into my rhythms, get back to work, you know, but it was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Had a good time. But yeah, we're getting back into it. I need to fully reset my brain and probably reset my project, as in actually come up with a game design doc and come up with some sort of direction that I'm going to go in and where I'm going to put my focus. Yeah, there's a lot to think about. I got to plan it out because otherwise I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of lost in where I'm supposed to be going with it. All of art is just stealing other art. Honestly, if it's on GitHub, you basically did it yourself. Yep. Yeah, I mean, with stuff like shaders, if people already have good ones out there, there's no need for me to reinvent the wheel.
Hi, you must be here for the video. Well, you're in luck because it's about shaders.
Mobius style 3D rendering. I don't know if this is cell shading, but maybe is it like this? Is this what he's trying to do?
Useless game dev. Mobius, also known as Jean Giraud, was a French cartoonist and major figure of French comic book arts. And today we're going to try and replicate his drawing style when rendering real-time 3D. It is obviously never going to be as good as masterpieces drawn by an expert, but this is more of an experiment to see how far we can go.
This is just interesting to me.
Regarding his style, Mobius had a lot of different phases throughout his career.
Here, I will be right back. Give me a second. I gotta run to the bathroom. All right. Okay. Whatever this style is
with him most
is dope.
This. Thin black outlines, flat colors,
that's so
lots
cool.
of details. Let's get started on the line and more specifically the outline. The line of Mobius's drawings has most of the time a fixed width, meaning it's probably all drawn with the same pen. If I draw the line directly on a 3D object using a regular texture, the perspective is going to make it uneven and pixelated up close, so there must be a screen space filter to keep everything at the same size. To do this, we're first going to need an edge detection filter in the form of
this has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing, but I just want to watch it.
filter, which is a kind of convolution filter. Let me explain. In a convolution filter, for every pixel on the screen, the result of the filter will be a weighted sum of the values of the neighboring pixels. To do this, you sample the pixels around the target pixel and multiply the values according to a weight matrix. If the weights are just a simple average, we get a simple blur. If the weights are Gaussian weights, we get Gaussian blur. This is the weight matrix for the Sobel filter. As you may already be able to tell, the resulting sum will highlight the differences between the left and the right sides of the pixel. If the values are same-ish, the filtered pixel will be dark. If, however, there is a high contrast between the two sides, the filtered pixel would be much brighter. If we test this on a sample image, we see that the Sobel filter highlights vertical edges. We just have to add a second similar filter that highlights horizontal edges.
Oh, okay.
And by taking the maximal value of both, we get a pretty nice...
I think I slightly understand.
In a 3D scene, we will apply the Sobel filter on the depth map. This way, when an object is far behind another, there will be a sudden change in depth and voila, outlines. Something that also has sudden changes along the edges of an object is the normal map of the scene. So we can also apply the Sobel filter to the normal buffer and we get even better edges. Now it's all supposed to be hand-drawn after all, so I'm going to add a slight noise to the UV sampling in order to get wiggly lines. Nope, that's too much. Perfect. It's already looking quite good, although for some reason when I zoom on this fern I can gaze into the interdimensional void.
How do people just like figure this stuff out? They just see something and they're like, oh, I'll just reproduce that with a shader.
Let's add texture to our objects. There's a lot of details.
Doesn't make any sense.
On our objects, and once again, if we draw them directly on the object, the perspective
is he doing this in
in
Blender, or what is he doing?
Was to write the texture information to the normal buffer. After all, we are not really going to apply any traditional lighting to the scene, and the normals will get caught and outlined by our Sobel filter. The only issue with this is that when you draw a single line on a normal texture, it will actually get outlined by the Sobel filter. And even if you draw the thinnest lines, when you look up close, it doesn't look great. But let's simply not look too closely at objects, and this will be a little secret. Also, we don't want to get too close and risk falling into the void.
By the way, Wardstone, if you're still in chat, how did that new game you were working on do? The one that, or how is it going? The one that I stopped in, was it a couple weeks ago? Nice. You are still here. But yes. The, what was it that you were working on? Now I can't even remember. Was it the, like, kind of dungeony one? Jeez. Here, I'm going to give up on what I was doing. New game is very slow progress. Trying to do everything right was using old D&D assets. That's right. Okay. From an old project to make a new game. Nice. Trying to do everything right. Yeah, that'll slow you down. That's why I always do everything wrong, is because I'm so impatient. Silent says, after a while, shaders are easier than you think. It's like a particle effect. Getting the exact effect can be hard at first, but after a while, you learn how to do it. Yeah. I mean, I'll take your word for it. To me, it's still... Maybe it's just the fact that it's like there's a specific language for it, and I don't understand that language yet. And, like, I get the general idea of just taking pixels and changing them, or vertexes or whatever it is, and changing them with some math, I guess. I don't know. It's just it's something I need to actually do. I'm actually stuck on other projects at the moment due to a game jam and fixing up game jam post jam. Okay. Okay. My ads are still up. Okay. Okay, so you've been doing game jams as well. I still have never done a game jam, and I really should. Thing is, I'm torn between like 40 things already. Like my main project, I should be working on. My old project, I should be finishing. And then I have my React Native learning that I'm doing, which has been pretty fun, actually. I've kind of learned how to at least hook into like a back end of some sort, or not even a back end, but just a database, doing stuff like that, which has been kind of cool. But I don't know how much I'm going to stream of that. But I'm just pulled 40 different ways, plus I'm working regular job, so time is just hard to come by. Understanding how shaders actually work on your GPU and understanding vector math is the most important part. Yeah. And, yeah, really what I should do is just kind of do what I did for Blender, where I just say, hey, I'm just not going to stop doing this until I feel like I'm pretty good at it. Vector and matrix math sounds a lot harder than it is. Yeah. I could see that.
In Mobius's drawing, lighting is mostly conveyed via the line itself. So you will
By the way, random note. Doing TypeScript, like I'm starting to figure it out a little bit, but of course I'm just doing it. I'm not like learning how to do it. I'm just doing it. And using like GitHub Copilot, which is not great because then I don't actually know the syntax very well and all that. But it made me realize that I just wish everything was as simple as GD script. Just give me that simplicity for everything that I want to do. Websites, apps, whatever. Code is actually the easiest part. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the code didn't seem that crazy. Like, it was pretty understandable.
have bright colors, we'll get to those in a moment, and the shading is going to be done using cross-hatched lines. To achieve this, I prepared this special texture with 3 dimensions of cross-hatching: horizontal, vertical, and sideways.
Okay.
Each of these layers write independently to the red, green, and blue channels of the texture respectively, which, once in Unity, gives me basically 3 textures in one. Pretty neat. With this, I can add the crosshatch depending on the brightness of a pixel. If it's between 100 and 75% brightness, no crosshatch. Between 75% and 50%, only horizontal lines. Between 50% and 25%, horizontal and vertical.
Dr. Cap, what is up?
25%
I'm
and
back.
0,
Yes,
all 3
indeed.
types of lines. The chef
And right now I'm not expecting myself to get anything done for the next couple days, but we are back and we're getting in a rhythm. me see if I can, well, I suppose it'll send me a notification. Can I snooze it? Yeah, okay, I can snooze it now. Nice. Nice, yes, I am back. Immortal Dragon says, had to grab dinner. What have I missed? Not really anything. I'm just watching some videos on some different cell shading sort of deals. GD script is great for mocking things up or making it a simple game, even a complex game, as long as you don't run into its limitations. Yeah, I love GD script. Silence says, this video is interesting, but not what you need. Definitely not what I need. But it is just interesting. Yeah, more academic, yeah. I just saw it and I was like, this is cool, but...
In an ideal world, the crosshatch pattern would follow the curve of the object it's on. This is how it should be drawn to convey volume. For the shady part of objects, this can be done by adding the crosshatch to the normal buffer, just like we do with texture. It works somewhat, but since it goes through the Sobel filter, the quality...
Yeah, this is literally nothing like what I'm going to end up using.
For shadows,
but
however, while it might
just
probably
cool.
be feasible, not by me. So we're going to stick with screen space crosshatch for now. We're almost done with the line component of our
Not
shader.
bad.
The last thing we need is to show specular reflection.
Oh, doing
We know
highlights.
This is drawing. This is done with very distinct white areas that are outlined as well. With a simple dot product between the normal of a...
This is the problem with my brain, is now I see those pictures and I'm like, I should spend like 2 months just learning how to draw like that. And it would have no usefulness for my game. But
in the direction of the main light of the scene, we can get the area of the object that is most exposed to light and write that as a special color in our object's normal map so it's caught by the Sobel filter. Line looks alright. It handles our 3D scene pretty well. It definitely doesn't look as detailed as it should be, but that would require me having some actual drawing skills, so no, let's move on to color. Objects are simple. They have either a single color, maybe a fancy schmancy gradient, and same thing for the skybox. Also, since the crosshatch line thing is taking care of the brightness component of colors, all colors can be at full brightness.
dang, that is sick.
It's all a bit too colorful now, so we'll add post-processing effects to tweak saturation, contrast, and other color adjustments. Also throw in some grain to look a bit more like paper. I'm not a fan of Unity's built-in film grain because it moves a lot like the image has white noise or something, so I made my own grain that only changes every 10 frames or so to mimic the low frame rate of old films. Our shader looks like it's ready in our sample scene, so let's take her out for a spin in a small racing game I made dubbed Montrouge Grand Prix. It's a tiny racing game, very simple, go through the hoops to complete a lap, 3 laps total, fastest wins.
Dang, bro.
It's available for you to play on itch.io, linked in the description, so go for it. This is my current best score, comment below if you can beat it. Until then, have a good one.
That is so sick. It just shows how, like, just a visual style can make something just look amazing. Just having one cohesive style.
Your game look like a cartoon.
Let me see what this guy's tutorial
Today,
is on
a way to implement the shading
on this
side of
toon
things,
shader.
using the basic spatial material that is available to you within Godot. So the two things that we need to think about when talking about a cartoon style are the character design and the lighting. Oftentimes cartoons have exaggerated proportions or large heads. This is kind of something that looks in that way. Another thing we need to consider for cartoon styles is lighting, particularly how the shadows work. In most cartoons, it's done by what is referred to as cell shading. So it's a single line, basically, where the shadow hits that is a different color from the rest of the object where the light is. Occasionally you'll have another level of light on top of that that's showing more of a proximity to a light source that will change the color again, but they are distinct, clean lines. Whereas in a lot of the default rendering options for most of the game engines out there, it's done in a physically based rendering style, so it's trying to approximate how light behaves in real life. So you'll find a lot more gradients and shallow fall
Yeah, that's the thing. I also, well, I want to play around with it for sure. But I also still am not entirely sure if I would want toon shading or that cell shading style. Hello, Lunch. How are you? Welcome back, Doc. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to see you people back in chat. It's been a minute, so. After I took a picture of my MIDI keyboard and shared it, I hated how my desk looked, so I ordered a new giant mouse pad that just now came in. Nice, nice. I should probably get a new mouse pad at some point. Mine is starting to get fairly worn in. And it's probably just soaked up like a cup full of salt from all the salt gun shots I've been using to kill flies. Find a shader for download. Yeah. Then I need to figure out how to apply that exactly, but that's fine. Actually, let's do that. So what is it again? Is it just called like Godot shaders or something? An outline shader is something I'm going to need. Simple spatial planet. That could be nice for something out in the, just out in the air. Oh, something I wanted to try. Actually, I should look and see if this guy responded to my email. He probably did not. If he did not, then I won't worry about even explaining what I was trying to do, but... Yep, no response. Too bad. I don't know the sites for download because I'm a crackhead and become obsessed with doing it myself instead of just doing it quick and smart. Yeah. That's my problem too. Shaders are saved as a resource, so I'm pretty sure you can just download it from somewhere. Yeah, so I could do that, and then I need to somehow apply it to my scenes using material. I did it once. Who helped me with it? It was for the glass on the spaceship. I guess I could just search here. What is it called? Let's see here. Stylized cartoon grass. Ooh. I mean, this isn't exactly what I want, but it would be nice to do some grass at some point. High performant grass. This here might be the we'll keep that open. Use shader material, not hard, in any 3D mesh. Okay, do you have to do it in the 3D mesh? So let's say if I go to my player. My Apollo scene, right? Can I do it in this mesh here, or do I need to re-import somehow and do it? Am I fine to just do it in here? There's the mesh there. Like a surface material override or... Or this material override? Oh, there's also different surfaces, so I would have to... The mouse pad I got this time is this waterproof fake leather kind of thing. I want to be able to clean my desk in the future with wipes whenever I want. That would be nice. My room is so messed up right now. I need to... Oh. That's not bad. I need to do a deep clean, though.
So apparently a lot of people like the Breath of the
I've
Wild
seen
shader that I
this
post.
one. Yeah.
It'll change the entire object. Shadow blend changes how smoothly it multiple lights at the same time. Also, no, which will change the color to normal bias changes that allows us to fix an issue.
It's kind of nice, but it always becomes... Yeah, yeah. Is my playlist up? Looks like it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, we got some left. Okay. Okay, so I've got this copied. Now, can I just create a new shader? Materials. Scenes. Okay, so that's where I put that. I guess I'll just do a new... Or should I create it on this first and then save it as a resource? Would I do it as a material overlay? Either way. Okay. I'll try a material overlay. Shader material. Shader. New shader. We're going to call this Toon Shader. And it is going to go in... What am I looking for? Oh, I'm still in scenes. That's why. Materials. Expected valid type hint after. Usually do it on the object myself and then tweak it. So why is this breaking? Hint range is a thing. Did they change? Is this not a thing anymore? Give a sec to move to my PC. I can help troubleshoot the code. Okay, yeah. Because I'm lost. Because this should be a built-in thing, right? Like hint color. Yeah, because then hint albedo also is not working. Let me see here. So expected valid type hint after. Maybe they changed the shader language. Source color. Oh, and you just found it as well. I wonder if it's the same for hint albedo as well. They changed shaders. Okay, yeah. So what did hint albedo become? Let's see here. Okay, I can just do source color again. Yeah. Okay, yeah, silent, you're right. Yeah, it's not too much. So I'll just do source color again, I think. Anywhere this is. 'Cause really that's all this is, right? Hint color again. Maybe. As long as source color also does the hint albedo sort of deal. Is this working already? Can't really tell. I don't think so. Stewie! Thank you, brother, for the sub.
I got laid off today.
Ooh.
Co-worker me and my bosses had tears in their eyes, and the only reason I was let go was an alphabetically assigned list. They're begging me to take the call back if I get one.
Dang, dude. Wait a second. So, laid off purely just pretty much because they just had to do layoffs and then they just did this list? And are they saying that there's a decent chance they'll get a call back? That sucks. Number 14 on the list, and there only keeps having. Dang. That's a big layoff. Massive layoff. Oof. So what's your plan? Sorry to hear that, man. Here, while you respond, I'm going to see if I can find some sort of a drink. Because right now, I can't have coffee because I just drank one, but I need something to drink besides water. Got a seltzer water. We'll see how that works. Silence says I would add a super simple object like a cube or a sphere and work the shader on that. Eliminate other variables with your objects imported from Blender. That's probably a good idea. Good call here. So I'm going to copy this, or I guess this is already saved. So I can just kind of go blip and then go to a new object. Should I just do one that's not even from Blender, Silent? Honestly, don't know. It's been working. It's between working as a Bezos slave, where I heard it stinks, and hoping for a call that might not come, or doing cancel work with family, which I've never done before. Cancel work. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to have a full plan instantly. But yeah. That is rough, though. Layoffs kind of suck because at least... Oh, CNC. Oh, okay. That would be interesting. My dad has like a CNC that he does just for his own projects. And I know someone who does that for a job. I haven't ever asked him about it, but... Okay, so figuring out how to apply the imported object, or apply to imported objects is the final step. Okay. Okay, so currently this just makes it fully black, unless it's because there's no lighting in the scene yet. So maybe I can add a point light. Yeah, let's do a directional. Why is it just fully dark? Ah, is it just because of this tint? Okay. Directional light, is it doing anything? I don't know what's going on here, but thing is, if I'm only going to take the offer if it's full-time hours. I don't think I can afford part-time for the hour drive to the job. Yeah, true. Yeah, part-time's not fun at all. Oh, for the directional light, I have to do the... shadow color light tint. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'll just do an Omni. The other good news I heard is there's a chance that my sick time and state will be paid out since I never called off. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's nice. Give you a little bit of padding in between. Hey, look at that. Magnetonics, how are you? Good to see you again. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. How you doing? Good to see you as usual. Silent says something to do with the shader parameter. Yeah, I think you're right. Shadow size. Let's see here. Let me get some music going again. If you send me the link to the shader, I can get a better idea. Okay, let me try this. Let me know if it shows up in chat on YouTube. Glad to see you back. Hope you're doing well. Doing great. Doing really good. Glad to be back, even though I'm a bit lost. Right now, I'm looking at some shaders, trying to figure out how you add them back in, or add them to... Because I don't know anything about shaders, but... add them to some of my objects. See if I can get some cell shading going on. Let me add another CSG box. And we're going to move it over. Okay, so we can see the lighting on that. Okay, perfect. Nice. So now we don't need this Omni. Actually, let's keep the Omni light and let's turn off that one. This way we can see the difference. So this shader is clearly doing something. Don't have a clue about them either. I hear about them all the time, so they must be useful. Yep. I don't know what I'm doing, but... So, light tint, shadow color. Let's just pick random... Oh, maybe. Hey, look at that. Okay. We have some weirdness. Yeah, look at that. Now, why is it shadowing things that are just not shadows? Yeah, that's weird. Pensive says, I have to go to bed, but I really enjoyed watching. Thank you for the fun stream. Hey, take it easy. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you next time then. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Peace. I probably have to go fairly soon, not instantly, but within reason. Man, like this is cool, but how do I get rid of this weirdness? Like that. Unless it's just the fact that I've switched it over to like source color. Is that something that would change it? Because we're using source color and like hint. There was hint color and then there was hint albedo, and then I changed both of them to source color. So Let's watch this
just
video
ignore
again.
it. Shadow size will change for that, but there was actually an issue with the lighting for the initial one, so I've reworked the entire thing. Also, nobody could understand it because I wrote it in Visual Shader first, and then now made it in an actual written shader. But yeah, so it now actually reacts to different colored lights, as well as multiple lights at the same time. So let me show you how to use it. I'm gonna disable this Omni light for a second just to show you. So if we come here to the material, the tint will just change the color of the albedo. The metallic property will change how metallic it is. Roughness changes its roughness, but this doesn't actually do anything since
So let's do white tint. Oh wow, now it's just glowing.
we're handling the light on our own. So kind of redundant thing that I've put in there, but just ignore it. Shadow size will change how big or small the shadow is across the entire object, not just individual parts. I'll show you how to do individual parts in a bit, but it'll change the entire object. Shadow blend changes how smoothly it blends, so you can make it completely non-cell shaded, or have the really sharp change like over here, or just like a small sort of smooth change between the two. Shadow extra intensity will subtract from the shadow value, which will make it darker, but if you set it too high, that will happen, so be careful. Shadow color changes the shadow color. Light tint changes the tint of the lighting, but will also multiply with the actual light color. So if we look at this part, it's blue. If I change the light tint, it'll also multiply with that. So use it as you want. Rim light size changes the size of the rim light, and the rim light blend changes how smooth it is or how soft it is, just like the shadow blend. Rim light color will change the color of the rim light. So bring this out, you can see that's like a red rim light.
Yeah, there's
now this is a
something
white
weird
rim
maybe from changing from 3.5 to
or you can have like a
4.0.
blue rim light or something. I don't know, just fiddle around with it until you get whatever you like. Use normal map, it's self-explanatory. Animated will change it from being static warble to moving warble. So use this as you like. This isn't actually there in Breath of the Wild. I just thought it would be a cool feature to add. The time scale changes how fast the animation goes. Now for the actual individual sort of shadow biasing. So shadow size will change it for the entire object, while as normal bias changes the shadow per axis. So this will go like left and right across the face, as you can see. Y will change it how far up or down it is on the face. It's kind of hard to see, but it does it. And then the Z will change it how forward, front, or back it goes.
I mean, the other thing I could do is just try one of these other shaders and see if it just works better. Yeah, I'm going to reset this, and then I'm going to do a new shader material and just see if this other one works. So we're going to do shader test 2. Wait. Back up. Materials. Actually, this one will be Tune Shader 2. Create. This one we're going to go blip and blip. No. Yep. Okay. Nothing. Okay. This one already has. Let's go to our directional light. Let's bring this energy back down to 1. Now, what happens if I do standard material, albedo, we pick something kind of toned down like this, and then we go to material override. And now it's extreme bright again. Interesting. Is that a CSG cylinder? I'm going to do a material overlay here. See how that does things. Why so bright? Still makes these things just insanely bright. And it does not take into account the original. So let's try this. We'll do it over here instead. Okay, still extreme brightness.
Hello everyone. In this video I will show you how to create a
I don't need to know how to make it. Why is it so bright? Yeah, it also seems like it just fully overrides, which makes sense right there. So maybe what this needs is for the that first video, I think this is the source. For this one here. Let me do the first shader on this one. Now it's behaving differently. Or is it just not being applied? Material overlay. What happens if I do this? Material override, that fully overrides it. Oh, and then that's where we get the weirdness. Oh, but is that just because of... No, it's not. The very first video you watched with the little Godot guy with the Patreon page. Okay. This one here. If you posted a link, Silent, it won't show up in the YouTube chat, as far as I know. At least I don't see it.
Here, we create a new shader material, or you can convert an existing standard material to a shader. We add our render mode line to adjust the diffuse and specular rendering, add our 2 gradient uniforms, and load our textures into our shader parameters. We also need a base albedo or an albedo texture. We add our Fresnel function, run it within our fragment function, and then adjust our albedo. Then we run our light function with the dot product, sampling, and diffuse light
Send
adjustments.
in Discord general.
Now, if you
Okay.
want to add more bands to the cell shading, you can
Or help. Yeah, true. Okay, Godot help. Where's the windows I need to pull back up right there? Okay. Okay, so this... Just download this shader. Is this the full project file? It might be. Has more up-to-date shader code and a video to accompany it. Oh, okay. So I might just open this project. Okay, nice. So there's the mesh. It's already colored. One and two are standard materials. Standard material. So where are these shaders? He has these resources here. Where in the world is he applying this shader? Ah, he's putting it in these? No, that's maybe? Okay, yes. But he's got a texture on this. Do you need a texture? Okay, what happens if I just copy this shader? This is different though because I have a I don't have like a mesh I can do this on, but Okay, this is a material overlay. What if I just throw it on this shader material? Yes, I will need to do something else. I don't know if this did anything for it, but thing is, with a guy this kind of blocky, might not even notice lighting changes. I don't know if anything changed on this guy. I don't think it did. Is there something we had to do with this one? Cell shader, you should see the inked outline of it. Play Borderlands. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with these then, because there's just weirdness with the shadows on this specific one. It's like a shadow in the middle and then everything else is lit up. No matter what angle you're peeking from. Well, okay. Material overlay also doesn't seem to show the other material under it. Yeah, the example project's weird. There, I did see the one shader. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I also just don't know where to put this stuff. Like, if I put it in the material override, then it overrides the material. In the overlay, rendered on top of any other, which I think will just take away the material again, right? If this wasn't so weird. Yeah, and then this one just does this. Which, let's be honest, does not at all resemble what is in the videos. Same with this. Okay, this one looks amazing. This looks incredible. So this is going to be the one that I want. Okay, this one already seems to be doing something. Maybe. I have no idea. Okay, I don't know if it's doing anything. Yeah, that one, it does look nice. Put next pass on this one, which no idea what that does. But let's take a look at this one and make sure we're actually using it correctly.
Hello everybody, welcome. 2 years ago, I made the first version of this shader for Godot, and I'm happy it's finally here. Pretty much everything. The idea is to make it look the same, but using the new stuff that Godot 4 brings. And what the shader looks like, as you can see, I start off with this block of defines. It's the multiprocessors, and they're really useful. The idea is that if you want to use transparency, if you want to use emission, if you want to use a normal map, ambient occlusion, or whatever, you just erase these, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, you still have to save it.
Oh, okay. So maybe I just haven't put anything on yet. Oh, this is just erroring. It's including something?
For example, let me show you this thing here.
Okay, so we need more. We need to download more shaders. Read everything carefully. Just copy. Okay, yeah. Read the repository. All right. Okay, so I need to download all of this, which I think I might leave for tomorrow because it is it's not super late, but I do have to get off. But I think this is the one I want to go with, and I don't think it'll be too hard to set up because he actually has a README on how to do it. Could also just try this one real quick. I don't think we downloaded this, right? Let's copy it. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Let me try this real quick just to see what happens. I'm just gonna paste it in here. Okay, this one also has an error. Attenuation.x. Now what is going on here? Invalid member for float. Let me just try this real quick. So this must be, well, it says for Godot 4. So I guess why does it have an error then? Are there any of these shaders that just work? Take out the .x? Okay. Okay, now something's going on. It's still doing the weird thing where the shadows just kind of go everywhere. This is the other thing, is it doesn't seem to just affect the material. It just seems to fully replace it, no matter where I put it. So there's clearly something I'm missing for where to put this shader. Because it just instantly, yeah, deletes everything. Okay, color. Put it on pause and do the other one tomorrow. You know what it's what you want to, may as well. Yeah. Super topical in Godot. The time when they are made is super important because of all the updates. True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll just save the one that I know that I want to do. Which is this one here. And get rid of that. We'll start from scratch on this one. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, well, I am going to bounce out. See you all later. Thank you for being here. Let me see if there's someone I can raid real quick. We don't have a massive group, but that's fine. Send you peeps to someone who's working on something. Dr. Cap. Hey. Who's online? Silent says good night. Hey, good night. Good to see you, man. Hope your recovery is going well. Okay, this Orbimortar is making a WordPress video game. That's interesting enough. So I'm going to send you guys over there. I think that's his... Yeah, Orbimortar. Okay, I'm going to get this raid going. Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but I want to watch. So I'm going to get the raid started here. And okay, I'm going to send you over now. Have a good one. I will see you again soon, probably tomorrow. But we will slowly get back into the swing of making some games. But thank you all for being here. As always, Dr. Cap, Magnetonic, Stewie, Immortal Dragon, Hello Lunch, Wardstone, That Gamer, Blades of Doom, JD, thank you for the raid. Buttermilk, all y'all. Appreciate you. And in the YouTube chat, Silent Creed. And I know, Pensive Crow. And then Aries was here. He was also in the YouTube or Twitch chat. But anyway, peace out. I'll see you next time. Thanks for streaming. Hey, thank you for being here, Dr. Cap. Appreciate you. All right. Have a good one. Bye. All right. I will see you.